Have you ever wondered how a single painting can capture the essence of hope and compassion? Ary Scheffer's Christus Consolator isn't just a masterpiece, it's a profound exploration of human suffering and divine love. But what makes this painting so timeless and universally cherished? Stay with us as we uncover its deep meaning, historical roots, and lasting legacy. Let's begin by diving into the core of Ary Scheffer's Christus Consolator. At the heart of the painting, we see Christ, serene and glowing with light, standing as a figure of calm and compassion. His arms are outstretched, seemingly inviting all those who suffer to come closer, offering comfort and peace. The simplicity of his gesture conveys a powerful message: no matter the trials one faces, there is always solace to be found in his embrace. Surrounding Christ, we find a diverse assembly of figures, each of them facing him with a combination of longing, reverence, and an unmistakable sense of need. There's a grieving mother, her hands pressed to her heart in mourning. A child reaches for his presence, seeking comfort from the divine. A man stands with visible signs of physical hardship, while another appears weighed down by invisible emotional burdens. Every face tells its own story of pain and suffering, yet there is a profound sense of hope and longing in their eyes. Their expressions are a reflection of humanity's struggles, yet also of its enduring desire for healing. The range of figures in this scene is not by accident. Why did Scheffer choose to represent such a variety of individuals, each with their own suffering? This diversity is key to the painting's universal message, that divine comfort is not selective. Whether one is poor, sick, grieving, or simply in search of solace, Christ's embrace is open to all. The inclusion of such a wide range of figures emphasizes that no one is beyond the reach of God's love and compassion. By using such a broad spectrum of human experience, Scheffer captures the essence of the shared human condition. Each individual in the painting is a reflection of the broader struggles we all face in life, struggles that transcend time, place, and circumstance. And yet, these figures are not just symbols of despair. Their gazes and postures convey something else, a quiet, yet unwavering, hope that in the presence of Christ, all burdens can be lifted. Scheffer's technique here is masterful in its simplicity. The painting does not overwhelm us with intricate details or grandiose symbolism. Instead, it draws us into a moment of quiet intimacy. We are not spectators of a distant scene but are invited to feel the emotion of those gathered around Christ. There's an undeniable emotional resonance in the way Scheffer portrays this divine encounter. In this intimate setting, we can almost hear the whispers of the figure's pain and the unspoken promise of healing. Ultimately, Christus Consolator is not just a painting, it's an invitation. An invitation to reflect on our own struggles, our own moments of pain and suffering, and to consider the comforting presence of Christ in our lives. The image reminds us that, just as these figures look toward Christ for solace, we too are welcomed into his embrace, regardless of our circumstances. It is this universal message of compassion and hope that makes the painting so timeless and powerful. Composition and symbolism. In this chapter, we delve into the composition and symbolism of the painting. At first glance, the central figure of Christ appears to simply occupy the middle of the canvas. However, upon closer inspection, we realize he's not just physically placed at the center, he's the heart of the narrative. Christ is both the literal and figurative light, offering calm in a sea of human suffering. The artist, Scheffer, purposefully positions Christ as the radiant source of hope and peace amidst the turmoil surrounding him. The arrangement of the figures around Christ is also significant. Notice how they form a semicircular shape, which naturally leads the viewer's eyes back to him. This curved formation creates a visual embrace, almost as if Christ is pulling the weight of their burdens toward himself. This arrangement not only highlights his central role but reinforces his position as the ultimate comforter. The figures, drawn to Christ's presence, symbolize the collective need for solace and support. The lighting in this painting is another key element. Scheffer avoids harsh contrasts, instead opting for a soft, subtle glow that emanates from Christ. This gentle light bathes the surrounding figures in a warm, almost spiritual aura. It's as if the light represents a divine presence that envelopes them, offering peace even in the midst of struggle. Through this harmonious interplay of light and shadow, Scheffer evokes a sense of serenity, suggesting that comfort and compassion can bring peace, even in the darkest times. Now, let's consider the figures themselves. Each one tells its own unique story of pain and hope. On one side, we see a grieving mother holding her child, representing both maternal anguish and the hope that comes with love. On the other side stands a wounded man, his scars visible, embodying the physical and emotional trials of humanity. In the background, a prisoner in chains reminds us of the soul's longing for redemption. These figures are not just symbolic of suffering, their shared focus on Christ suggests a universal yearning for solace. Despite their different forms of suffering, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, the figures all find common ground in their gaze and posture. Every gesture points toward Christ, indicating that their longing for comfort transcends individual struggles. This shared focus underscores the painting's message that compassion and divine love are universal. Regardless of the nature of their pain, the answer lies in Christ, whose open arms offer an invitation to all. The muted color palette adds to the painting's overall mood. Scheffer uses earthy tones, subdued browns, grays, and whites, to create a timeless, meditative atmosphere. Unlike the bold, dramatic hues often seen in romantic art, these colors ground the painting in reality, making it feel approachable and relatable. Even the intricate folds of the robes, painted with meticulous detail, seem to ripple gently, as if stirred by a divine breath. This subtle touch further enhances the presence of the divine and the comfort it provides. Through these careful choices, Scheffer invites us not only to look at the scene but to truly feel the solace it offers. A brief history. In the 1830s, Europe was a continent in turmoil. Political revolutions were sweeping across nations, challenging monarchies, and disrupting traditional structures. At the same time, industrialization was rapidly reshaping the landscape, creating vast wealth but also deepening the divide between the rich and poor. Amid this turbulent period, Ary Scheffer painted Christus Consolator in 1836, an artwork that not only reflected the era's anxieties but also offered a message of spiritual solace in a time of great upheaval. The 19th century marked a dramatic shift in the role of art. It was no longer just a tool for realistic depiction. Artists began using their work to convey deeper emotions, moral ideals, and spiritual messages. This transformation was at the heart of the Romantic movement, which prioritized connecting with the inner soul rather than simply appealing to the eyes. Ary Scheffer, deeply influenced by his Protestant faith, brought this philosophy to life with Christus Consolator, a painting that expresses profound empathy for the struggles of humanity. At the heart of Christus Consolator lies a poignant question: why would an artist choose to portray a compassionate Christ surrounded by society's most marginalized? The answer can be found in the context of the time. Industrialization, though bringing progress, also led to dislocation and a growing sense of inequality. Scheffer understood the spiritual yearning of the common people, those who felt alienated by the rapid changes around them. For these viewers, Christus Consolator was more than just a religious image, it was a sanctuary of comfort, offering a sense of peace and hope through Christ's embrace. In addition to offering emotional solace, Christus Consolator also addressed a pressing social issue: inclusivity. Scheffer's depiction of Christ welcoming lepers, prisoners, and the grieving was revolutionary for its time. It reflected the growing social reform movements that sought to uplift the disenfranchised and reminded society of its moral obligations to the less fortunate. Through this painting, Scheffer wasn't just depicting faith, he was issuing a subtle yet powerful call for compassion, urging society to reach out to those who were suffering. Could a painting like Christus Consolator inspire societal change? For many viewers of the time, the answer was yes. The work served as a visual sermon, advocating for kindness, equality, and an unwavering faith in humanity. It wasn't merely an aesthetic object, it was a moral statement that resonated deeply with those seeking direction in a time of political and social instability. Amidst the revolutions and social unrest of the 1830s, Christus Consolator offered a quiet yet powerful message of hope. In an era where chaos and uncertainty were prevalent, the painting suggested that faith, love, and compassion could anchor society, providing stability even in the most turbulent of times. Ary Scheffer's Christus Consolator remains a timeless response to the emotional and societal crises of its era, continuing to speak to viewers today with its message of spiritual reassurance and human compassion. Cultural and historical reception. When Christus Consolator was first revealed in 1836, it quickly transcended its status as a mere work of art and became a cultural phenomenon. Have you ever wondered why certain paintings resonate so deeply across generations? Christus Consolator struck an emotional chord that reached far beyond the walls of the gallery. Its profound depth of compassion made it a beloved symbol of spiritual solace, capturing the hearts of those who encountered it. From the outset, the painting's impact was undeniable. Lithographs and prints of Christus Consolator were reproduced on a massive scale and distributed widely, not only throughout Europe but also to other parts of the world. People began displaying these reproductions in their homes, churches, and places of worship, using the image as a visual affirmation of faith and hope. Imagine walking into a 19th-century church, with a print of the Consolator placed near the altar. This image became an essential part of both private devotion and public life, spreading a message of divine love and compassion. So, why did this particular image of Christ resonate so universally across different cultures and religions? The answer lies in the painting's universal message of suffering, loss, and comfort. Christus Consolator isn't just about Christianity, its appeal stems from the shared human experience. The compassionate figure of Christ reaching out to the marginalized and downtrodden offers reassurance to people in moments of despair, regardless of their background or religious affiliation. In a world facing constant hardship, this message of comfort became an emotional lifeline for many. The painting's influence extended beyond faith, it sparked engagement with themes of social justice and reform. The image of Christ embracing society's outcasts resonated with the social movements of the time, which sought to address inequality and poverty. Just as the painting depicted Christ's outreach to the marginalized, it challenged viewers to reflect on their own responsibility to care for the vulnerable. Even today, Christus Consolator continues to inspire, reminding us of the healing power of compassion, love, and hope in times of personal or collective struggle. Its timeless message remains as relevant now as it was nearly 2 centuries ago. Have you ever wondered what it's like to stand before a masterpiece that has been admired for over 180 years? The original Christus Consolator, a painting that has touched the hearts of countless individuals, is now housed in one of the world's most renowned art museums, the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. Imagine yourself standing in front of this iconic work, where Christ, with a serene expression, embraces the suffering and offers comfort to the marginalized. The warmth and peace in the painting's atmosphere almost feel tangible, pulling you into its emotional and spiritual depths. It's not just a visual experience, it's an emotional one, enveloping you in its timeless message of compassion. Why is the Rijksmuseum the perfect home for Christus Consolator? It's more than just the museum's prestigious reputation or breathtaking architecture. The Rijksmuseum is a sanctuary for works of art that transcend time and culture, and this painting is undoubtedly one of them. With its rich collection of Dutch and European art, the museum weaves together the story of art history, and Scheffer's painting perfectly fits into that narrative. As you explore its galleries, you can't help but reflect on the broader themes of 19th-century art, the rise of Romanticism, the social challenges of the time, and, most poignantly, the need for empathy and human connection. What makes Christus Consolator so enduring is how it communicates profound themes within a single frame. The contrast between the serene yet sorrowful face of Christ and the vulnerable figures surrounding him speaks volumes about the human condition. Imagine how this powerful depiction must have impacted its original audience, at a time when faith, hope, and comfort were desperately needed. The painting speaks to something universal, offering solace in a way that words alone cannot express. The painting's power hasn't faded over time. For nearly 2 centuries, it has captivated art lovers from across the globe. Every year, thousands of visitors make their way to Amsterdam, not just to view Christus Consolator, but to experience its spiritual resonance firsthand. Many take a quiet moment to reflect before it, feeling its message of comfort reach out to them, as it has done for generations. There's something truly special about standing before such a work in person, witnessing the brushstrokes that bring light and emotion to life, and feeling the painting's energy in the same space it's been admired for over 180 years. But the legacy of Christus Consolator doesn't end with its display at the Rijksmuseum. It has inspired countless reproductions, sparked discussions in art history literature, and remains a vital reference for artists, curators, and scholars alike. Its profound emotional impact, capturing divine comfort and human vulnerability, has made it an iconic piece of religious art. And even as the years pass, it remains a deeply meaningful expression of humanity's eternal need for compassion and understanding, a message that remains just as relevant today as it was when the painting was first unveiled in 1836. When we gaze upon Christus Consolator, what does it truly signify? Is it simply a religious painting, or does it hold something deeper, a window into understanding the human experience? Ary Scheffer's portrayal isn't just a depiction of Christ offering solace, it's a reflection of our collective need for comfort, compassion, and connection in times of sorrow. This artwork transcends its religious context, speaking to universal truths that resonate across cultures, beliefs, and time itself. As you observe the painting, are you reminded of your own moments of loss or hardship when you longed for comfort? Does Christ's quiet embrace feel personal to you, offering not just spiritual reassurance but emotional solace? Scheffer's meticulous attention to light, emotion, and the tender interaction between the figures draws us into a powerful, intimate moment, one that suggests, you are not alone. The way he captures the scene makes compassion feel tangible, as if it could reach out and touch us directly, reminding us of our shared humanity. This is the remarkable power of art. it moves us, challenges us, and even heals us. If Christus Consolator spoke to you, I encourage you to share its message with someone who might need comfort today. Art isn't just to be admired, it's meant to spread hope. And if you're curious to explore this masterpiece further, consider visiting the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, where you can experience the painting in person and truly appreciate the depth of its significance. Thank you for watching, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. What other masterpieces would you like us to explore, and which ones have moved you the most? Let's continue the conversation.